Chapter 1. The Cursed Math. Congratulations, you've been born into the most dangerous job in the medieval world. Not soldier, not plague doctor, Emperor of Byzantium. Out of roughly 90 emperors who held this throne, more than half died violently or were mutilated out of power. Your odds of dying peacefully in bed are worse than the odds of surviving a medieval battlefield. The job title sounds like ultimate power. The actual experience is closer to defusing a bomb that is also trying to defuse you. And here is the part that makes it worse. Your enemies are not barbarians at the gate. Your enemies are your wife, your children, your ministers, and the guards standing directly behind you right now. Chapter 2. Paranoia is the job. You do not sleep well, ever. This is not an exaggeration, it is a job requirement. Every cup of wine passes through 3 separate taste testers before it reaches your lips, and you still assume someone is one step ahead of the system. Poison technology in this empire evolves constantly, quietly, and creatively, and the moment you feel safe is usually the moment right before something goes wrong. You build secret passages into your own palace. You hire an elite personal guard made entirely of Scandinavian mercenaries, the famous Varangian Guard, specifically because they have no local family ties, no local political alliances, and absolutely no reason to plot with anyone Greek against you. Trusting your own countrymen with your personal safety is considered, by this point in Byzantine history, a form of suicide. You wake up at the smallest sound, a curtain moving wrong, a footstep slightly too quiet. Your best friend, your most trusted advisor, your own brother, any of them could be standing in the dark with a knife and a very good reason. You have built an empire, you have also built a permanent state of low-grade terror that follows you to bed every single night. Chapter 3. Eyes for an Empire. Byzantium is a deeply religious society, and devout Christians have a real aversion to spilling Christian blood. This produces what may be history's most twisted compromise. Instead of execution, the preferred method of removing a political rival is blinding. Byzantine law states clearly that a blind man cannot rule the empire. Problem solved, bloodlessly, technically. So your loving relative, the one who just smiled at you across the dinner table, will happily hold red-hot iron to your eyes to vacate the throne on your behalf. This was not rare. This was standard operating procedure for generations of Byzantine power struggles. You can find blinded former emperors retired quietly into monasteries across the empire, sitting in the dark, thinking about how close they came. The genius of the system is its hypocrisy. Nobody's hands are technically stained with murder. Everyone involved can attend church the following Sunday with a completely clear conscience. The victim is simply alive, blind, and politically irrelevant. Mission accomplished without a single drop of blood on anyone's soul, according to the paperwork. Chapter 4. The nose knows. If blinding feels too permanent for your taste, there is another humane option available. Cut off the nose, slit the tongue while you are at it, so public speaking becomes considerably more difficult. The logic is the same. Disfigurement disqualifies you from rule without technically killing you. This brings us to Emperor Justinian II, the single greatest comeback story in Byzantine history, and possibly in recorded political history generally. His political enemies cut off his nose and exiled him to Crimea, fully expecting him to disappear into irrelevant obscurity forever. Instead, Justinian commissioned a solid gold prosthetic nose, built himself a new army through alliances in exile, sailed back to Constantinople, retook his throne, and then spent considerable time and creativity getting brutal personal revenge on everyone who had wronged him. He ruled again, with a metal nose. This is, without competition, the single most cinematic, real historical event in this entire list, and somebody should be building an animated franchise around it immediately. Chapter 5. The Eunuch Shadow Government. You assume you are the absolute ruler of the known civilized world. Adorable. The actual bureaucracy, the actual military logistics, and quite possibly your actual wardrobe choices are being run by eunuchs. Since eunuchs cannot produce heirs, and therefore cannot realistically claim the throne for a bloodline of their own, emperors historically trusted them above almost anyone else with blood relatives and ambitions. The unintended consequence is a permanent shadow government of court eunuchs who control palace access, financial administration, and a frightening amount of military command. They surround you constantly. They filter what information reaches your ears and what gets quietly buried before it does. They decide In many real historical cases, whether you survive to see tomorrow, or whether you have an unfortunate accident involving mushrooms that definitely were not poisonous on purpose, you are the most powerful man in the Eastern Mediterranean. You are also, in a very practical sense, managed. Chapter 6. The Hippodrome Apocalypse. Constantinople's favorite pastime is chariot racing, and this sounds charming until you understand what it actually means politically. The fans split into two violently dedicated factions, the Blues and the Greens. These are not casual sports rivalries. These are organized political and social factions with real influence, real grudges, and a genuine willingness toward real violence. They controlled city districts, collected taxes, and had their own armed militias. The city guard was terrified of them. Pick the wrong team publicly, or fail to properly manage tensions between them, and you get something like the Nika riots of 532. What started as race day tension escalated into a citywide uprising that burned roughly half of Constantinople to the ground and killed an estimated 30,000 people in a matter of days. Emperor Justinian nearly fled the city entirely before his wife Theodora talked him into staying and crushing the revolt through brutal force inside the very Hippodrome where it began. Your favorite weekend entertainment is also simultaneously a live political minefield that has burned down your own capital before and will happily do it again. Chapter 7. Court Etiquette from Hell. Receiving foreign ambassadors requires you to participate in what is essentially the most elaborate magic show in the medieval world, except you are both the performer and the prop. Your throne is rigged with genuinely sophisticated hydraulic mechanisms. As the visiting ambassador bows before you, your entire throne mechanically rises toward the ceiling. Mechanical golden lions positioned around the hall begin to roar using internal bellows. Golden mechanical birds in artificial trees start singing through hidden pipe systems. The intended effect is total. You are not a man, you are a god emperor, ascending before their very eyes in a manner specifically engineered to leave foreign dignitaries rattled and impressed in equal measure. Behind the scenes, a crowd of sweating engineers are frantically turning gears, praying the ropes won't snap and send the ruler of the world face first into the marble. While the ambassadors are prostrated, servants rush to change your clothes into even heavier golden robes, so when they look up, you are a completely different divine entity. Meanwhile, you, the actual human being inside this golden spectacle, must maintain a completely stone-faced expression of divine authority while your back is killing you, your legs have gone numb from sitting rigidly for the ceremony's full duration, and you desperately need a bathroom break that absolutely cannot happen mid-ascension. The Empire's foreign policy strategy includes mechanical engineering, theatrical lighting, and your personal bladder control under pressure. Chapter 8. Retirement. The Monastery. Suppose you get lucky. No poison found its mark. Nobody blinded you. Your nose remains fully attached to your face. Statistically, against significant odds, you are still in one functioning piece. You still do not get a peaceful retirement. The standard outcome for a deposed but otherwise intact emperor is forced tonsure, the ceremonial shaving that marks entry into monastic life, followed by permanent exile to a remote monastery, frequently positioned on some isolated rocky island specifically chosen for its inconvenience to visitors and escape attempts alike. They strip you of your silk, throw a scratchy wool robe on you, and force you to clean the monastery toilets. Your diet is now stale bread and water, and your only friends are silent, grumpy monks. And don't you dare complain. The abbot will gladly snitch to the new emperor that you are plotting a coup, and then they'll come for your eyes anyway. No more golden throne, no more mechanical lions, no internet obviously, and also, crucially, no nose-related anxiety anymore, because nobody bothers mutilating a man who has already been spiritually and politically erased. You spend your remaining years praying, quite literally, for the continued health and success of the exact person who just overthrew you, because that is what the role now requires of you. The Empire's signature move: defeat your rivals and then make them pray for you afterward. Efficient, humiliating, extremely Byzantine. So here is the complete Byzantine experience top to bottom. You are poisoned, blinded, denosed, managed by eunuchs, terrorized by sports fans, mechanically elevated toward your own ceiling, and eventually shaved bald and shipped to an island to pray for your replacement. The ideal Byzantine emperor portrait, by the end of an actual reign, is simply a face that still has both eyes and a nose attached to it. That alone counted as a major political achievement. Subscribe because your worst performance review still does not end with someone reaching for a hot iron. The next victim is your choice. Comments are open.